Israel's endless wars and genocides, the hypocrisy of a democracy built on blood. For over 7 decades, the Middle East has been drenched in the blood of innocents, and at the heart of it all stands a state that proudly calls itself the only democracy in the region. Israel's claim to democracy has become one of the greatest hypocrisies of modern history. Beneath the mask of self-defense and security, it has waged war after war, genocide after genocide, across borders and against entire populations who were stripped of their humanity before the first missile even fell. Let's call things by their real names, not conflicts, but wars and genocides. The Arab-Israeli war is not a conflict of ideologies, but an ongoing campaign of domination. The Israeli-Palestinian war has turned Gaza and the West Bank into open-air prisons, where children are buried under rubble and the world debates proportionality. The 2023 Gaza war was not a military operation, it was a deliberate extermination, the systematic starvation and bombing of a trapped population. The Israeli invasion of the Gaza Strip reduced entire neighborhoods to dust, targeting hospitals, schools, and UN shelters, while Western media parroted Tel Aviv's propaganda of self-defense. And while Gaza bled, the Israeli genocidal incursions in the West Bank continued: nightly raids, assassinations, mass arrests of teenagers and journalists, bulldozing of homes. The Palestinian internal wars, often manipulated by foreign hands, are nothing but the result of decades of division sown by occupation. The Hamas-Fatah war, the Salafist wars in Gaza, even the PA's clashes with local militias, all are symptoms of a people broken by the same boot that claims moral superiority. But Israel's reach doesn't stop at Palestine. It stretches north to the Israeli-Lebanese war, where entire Lebanese villages were wiped out, to the Hezbollah-Israel war, a war fought with cluster bombs that still kill farmers decades later. The 2023 Israel-Hezbollah war once again proved that for Israel, borders are only suggestions, and human lives are secondary to its endless militarism. In Syria, Israel's hand has been visible through airstrikes, espionage, and opportunistic invasions. The 2024 Israeli invasion of Syria and the southern Syria genocides against Druze and civilians are yet another stain in a pattern of destruction. Under the guise of fighting Iranian proxies, Israel bombed Syrian soil hundreds of times, escalating the Iran-Israel proxy war into a regional nightmare. Even the Red Sea genocide, attacks on Yemen, exposes the full madness of this so-called democracy. Bombing Yemen, threatening ships, destabilizing one of the poorest nations on earth, all while wrapping itself in the flag of defense. And yet, the world keeps repeating the same lie: Israel is a democracy. A democracy that censors journalists, jails dissidents, bulldozes homes, imprisons children, and drops white phosphorus on civilian zones. A democracy that thrives on apartheid, surveillance, and military occupation. A democracy that decides who deserves water, food, or electricity, and who deserves to die. Israel calls itself a light unto the nations. But what light burns entire cities to ash? What democracy survives only through the destruction of others? This is not democracy. This is systematic militarized genocide wrapped in a flag and blessed by silence. The hypocrisy is unbearable: a state built on ethnic cleansing, funded by Western powers, shielded by propaganda, and yet daring to speak of human rights. If democracy means the freedom to annihilate, to occupy, to erase an entire people, then Israel is indeed a democracy. But if democracy means justice, equality, and the protection of human life, then Israel stands as its most brutal enemy. History will not remember Israel as a democracy. It will remember it as a warning, a state that murdered in the name of freedom, and silenced the world in the name of lies.